Hi everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic day. I just wanted to say today, I read such a kind of a funny article, but in hindsight, it just goes to show you the mentality of some of our government officials. So depending on where you live during this stuff that's been going on, you've either been under lockdown, you might have been under curfew, you might have had your businesses closed. And one of the big things that a lot of people mention and say, you know what, the people who are making these decisions and telling us to shut down our businesses, stay at home, all these people lose our houses, lose our jobs if you're one of those people affected who have had to shut down your businesses for almost over a year now in some cases. Well, the people telling you to make those decisions haven't lost 1 cent, live quite comfortably. In fact, they're working more during the pandemic than they would have had they not been. If you take a look at the one of the number one health officials in the United States, who is doing the recommendations for the CDC and things like that, they made over $2 million in 2019 just doing consultations and lectures. That's a pretty good salary. I don't know if they made that before the COVID hit. You know what I mean? Your government officials who tell you that you have to take $500 a week in salary instead of your normal $3,000, depending on your job. They're not losing their salary. They're not losing any restrictions. They're making hundreds of $1,000s a year and not losing a penny. So a lot of people would say, we need a little bit of balance, right? And of course you can't have balance because we elect our officials to make these decisions for us. And I'm not begrudging them their salaries. That's not my point here. I don't begrudge a doctor making money. I don't begrudge, healthcare professionals who are making these recommendations. I don't begrudge them their money, their salaries. I don't, any of that. But when you're making decisions based on people's livelihoods and businesses and survival and income and all this other stuff, you need to have some perspective. And that's where we're missing right now. We don't have people in power who have the same perspective of people who have gone paycheck to paycheck and are wondering how they're going to get by. Their rent is $1,400 a month. Easy, you could do that. $1,400 a month is a small 2-bedroom apartment here in Ottawa. And if you're making $2,000 a month, that leaves you $600 a month to feed your family, kids, and everything, and pay your phone bills, your cable bills, all that. It's not a lot of money. So we had one member of parliament, and let's get this clear, this is a member of parliament who used to be part of the government's caucus. He was a conservative member, and he's been since he's now an independent. They've had their outs. Let's just say it that way. So take what he's doing with a grain of salt as well. But it was very interesting. He put forward a motion that the provincial members of parliament should take a salary cut to $500 a week temporarily, so they know what it's like to live on $2,000 a month and pay your bills and survive on that while not being able to work. Now, let's face it, this is government. So there's no way government officials were going to say, yeah, let's cut our salaries. There's no way. There's no way that was ever going to happen. So this was voted down immediately not to do it. But here's the next thing that happened. The leader of the House for the Conservatives then put forward a motion that only the member of parliament who tried to have this bill implemented, only his salary gets cut to $500 a month. And that one passed unanimously. Like the hypocrisy in that state, in what just happened, is like ultra elitist, in my opinion, right? Ultra elitist. It sounds vindictive, it sounds manipulative, and it just sounds like payback, right? It doesn't sound like good government. It doesn't sound like good decision making. It's one thing to put forward a motion saying that, you know, this really won't help, all that kind of stuff, and make your point. It's another to say, you know what, no, we're not going to cut our salaries, but hey, we'll cut your salary. Let's vote on that. That is just wrong. And that member of the House who did that, being the leader, also really showed his true colors there. And he came on afterwards and he said, we did this. I knew because the Speaker of the House ruled that vote out of order. So it didn't go forward after that. Out of order, that motion. So it didn't go forward. And the Speaker and the leader said, I knew that was going to happen. I knew the Speaker was going to do that. I did this to make a point. What's the point? That if somebody suggested something that you're going to be, if you're against it, you're going to be vindictive and attack that person? Is that the kind of government that you're saying that you're running right now? I thought this was supposed to be a fair and open debate. I thought this is supposed to listen to all sides. I thought we were supposed to weigh and counterbalance decision making. This didn't sound like that. This just sounded like, hey, you shut up or you're going to pay the consequences. And I don't want government like that running the country or the province. I want government that's willing to listen to everybody. If the opposition has a good idea, weigh it. Even if they have a bad idea, weigh it. Right? Counterbalance, make your counterpoint, and then make a decision. All they had to do was vote this down and say it really wouldn't do anything, it really wouldn't change anything. If they would, but no, they had to kind of make a joke out of it and attack this member of parliament. And that is just wrong. That is absolutely the wrong kind of government to have in office. And you notice I'm calling on conservatives. And normally when I talk about government in Canada, I'm talking about liberals. It just goes to show you, I don't care about any government political party whatsoever. Wrong is wrong, right is right, fair is fair. That's what we want. That's what government should be. It should not be agenda driven. It should not be Twitter, driven. It should not be who can bring up the most outrage to get something passed. It should be weigh the balances, make a fair decision, and go from there. What's in the best interest of everybody? But no, apparently right now, if you disagree with something against whatever government's in power, not only are you going to be shot down, you're also going to be ridiculed and vindictively attacked for your decisions. It's actually a shame. It's actually a shame to watch government in action anywhere in the world nowadays. If you ever sit in and watch an actual, when they're in session and listening to the question period and the debates going on, it's like 5-year-old children fighting over Play-Doh. It really is almost sickening to see grown people behave like children, because they don't represent government. They don't represent fairness. They don't represent good decisions. They just look like they represent themselves, and that's it. And that's a shame. So to the member of parliament who put this forward, you knew it wasn't going to pass. I know you were trying to make a point, But for the MPP in power to try and turn it around and attack that one person was even worse. Even worse. Instead of just saying, you know what, that's not a good idea, you were vindictive and attacking somebody else. And that just showed your true colors. It wasn't a joke. It was a clear understanding of the kind of person that you are.